We invented seed-to-sale tracking. We currently serve businesses and governments worldwide. We operate and offer technology services across the entire supply chain, so cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, and retail. Over $10 billion of sales transactions to date through our technology systems. And we have 3 core values that we live by. They are do the right thing, be part of the solution, and show people you care.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Simulation. We are still at New West Summit in partnership with them, the world's leading cannabis tech conference. We are now sitting down with Jessica Billingsley, the CEO of MJ Freeway. Thank you for coming on the show.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
And the moment that I came in through the door, I saw, MJ Freeway, and then we started talking about you, and then it was like acquisition time and publicly traded time, and I was like, whoa, okay, cool. Let's unpack more. Let's understand more. What do you do? How are you already at this stage? There's so many early stage cannabis tech companies, and then you're like, we've been around 8.5 years. So that's a pretty, long time for a cannabis company to be around. Go ahead and teach us about what you've built and how it all got started, and we'd love to learn.
Sure. Well, thank you. So MJ Freeway, we invented seed-to-sale tracking, as you mentioned, a little over 8.5 years ago. And we currently serve businesses and governments worldwide. We're the only cannabis technology company that is operating truly globally. And we operate and offer technology services across the entire supply chain. So cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, and retail. And we have processed, as you mentioned earlier, over $10 billion of sales transactions to date through our technology systems.
How does one know how to put a unique identifier to a seed and then see it go all the way to sale without telling us about your secret sauces? But how do you do that?
Well, I think I'm not sure if I'll be able to answer that without getting very, very technically geeky. So maybe I'll answer.
Like technically geeky.
Okay. Okay. So at the end of the day, it's a parent-child association in the software program, and many of those. So as you attach a unique identifier to the seed, to the tissue culture or the clone throughout propagation, and any additives, anything that happens throughout the life cycle of growing, all of those are included and get attached to the history. And ingredients that are used in the growth of the product can actually move forward as ingredients in the final product. So that unique identifier then becomes a parent identifier, if you will, or a child, and multiple plants might be combined into one batch, which then becomes the parent with all of the child batches. And then even that batch might go through an extraction or an infusion process, but we attach and track it throughout the entire process. And all of those ingredients that could have happened since inception still follow through to the sale of the final product, which also assists in recalls as well.
Yeah. Okay, so all the way from the parent. So you're really looking, you started 8 years ago with labeling the unique identifier onto different strains and different plant, and then it was their seeds, and then you would label their seeds, and then this has now been a continuous process of just labeling their seeds so you kind of have a ancestry. Is that right?
Well, we certainly have a large set of data around genetics, if you will.
Yeah.
But we don't necessarily label seeds from all the parents that have ever existed.
Okay.
So in our system, though, there might be a mother or a grandmother plant, and then there might be clones or tissue culture or seeds that come from those plants that live on in the system at a particular client's facility. And we do have all of that set of data of genetics that can be tracked through the system and related back to each other.
Is that maybe we stay there for a little bit if that's an interesting aspect to what MJ Freeway is doing. It is plant genetics data cannabis genetics. Is that an interesting field for you guys to work with other scientists, and what are you discovering there? Is that an interesting part of what you're doing?
It is. I think that one of the interesting things with plant genetics now is that you can take the same clone or the same tissue culture of the same strain, even from the same mother or grandmother plant, and you can actually end up with a different phenome at the end when it gets sent to the laboratory for testing. So there's just a lot more data and science work to be done in that area, and we are partnering with other folks to work on some of those issues and interesting challenges and opportunities.
And then now let's maybe talk about the rest of the process. So now how do you track the unique identifier all the way to sale?
Sure. So it lives and it all gets associated throughout the entire process, whether it gets extracted into an extract, whether that extract then gets infused into another product. All of the information from the original material stays attached to it throughout the system. And then that moves through, and the sale can be tracked to sale to a final patient or consumer as well.
So then you're relying on all of the components that are, if they are added along the way, to be logged.
Well, yes, although there is a lot that is set up to be really smart, really intuitive, where you can perform an action that happens to an entire room, for instance, and one additive gets added to everything that's located in that room. So there's a lot that we do to cut down on the manual data entry from a technology user interface, usability point of view.
Yeah. Okay, and then this is really important because then you're in essence, you are a immutable ledger of the data that is. So you are kind of a blockchain, but you're immutable data on the product, a ledger of the product. You don't actually have is this a blockchain?
So not technically, and I'll explain why.
Yes.
So there are two things that make blockchain. One is this idea of an immutable system of record, which we absolutely are. But interestingly, and I actually wrote a blog about this, what makes blockchain is that it is also peer reviewed. And unless you were
still centralized.
Well, we have a set of technology solutions. We actually are a cloud-hosted solution for what we provide. However, we're one entity, and we provide these solutions to our clients. And in order to actually be blockchain, you would have to have a peer entity actually review every transaction before it becomes a transaction, and then it actually makes it so it's not ever, or at least not in today's technology in terms of what's possible. It's not a replacement and won't be a replacement for traditional databases or database systems for business management, transaction systems, which are what we offer. So if somebody is needing to make a sale, they can't wait on somebody else, some other peer, to review that sale before they make the sale, which is what makes blockchain.
For now.
For now.
Which is exciting too, because then everything can be completely decentralized at the same time that it is immutable. Okay, cool. That's good that we learned about that. So now, how does one scale from 10 billion in sales over 8 years? How does one do that?
Well, I think there are a couple pieces, but number one, you have to provide the most value to your clients, and we think about that all the time. How do we solve their problems better than anyone else? So we actually have a very defined culture at MJ Freeway, and we have 3 core values that we live by. They are do the right thing, be part of the solution, and show people you care. And if you're doing all of those things really, really well, by definition, any great technology provides far more value to either the top line or the bottom line than it costs. It provides more value to our clients. And that's how we've been able to lead through the years.
Wow, those are cool. One more time, please. Core values.
Do the right thing, be part of the solution, and show people you care.
Do the right thing, be part of the solution, and show people you care. Those are really good. And that's how you can really build a really strong team. So how many people are with you now?
We're about 80 people.
And is that a lot of engineers, the computer scientists, or where are you at with the array of people?
Sure. Well, we certainly have a very strong and a deep and experienced team of engineers. But we also have, throughout our company, continued to hire from within the industry. So we have also a number of people with very, very deep cannabis expertise. And those people help us either in our consulting services division or in our client services division, or actually in helping to assist in designing and building the product.
And then walk us through what a experience would look like for someone that comes on board MJ Freeway. So I'm coming on board. I'm now wanting to log my seeds and with you, and then watch how they go to the end user.
Sure. Well, we have a onboarding team that works with our new clients. So you would be assigned to a particular lead onboarder that would work with you throughout the entire implementation process. And that person would help you set up all of your systems, do practice actions throughout whatever you're going to do in the system, and then hold your hand as you go live on the software in full-time operations.
And then the software itself is showing what sort of insights to me to make it worthwhile for me to keep using.
That's great. So, yeah, business intelligence is at the heart of what we do. I spoke before about both being part of the solution and providing more value. And one of the areas in which we are seeing a real need as our industry, as cannabis continues to mature and to consolidate and move toward a more enterprise industry, we are seeing a greater need for competitive insights for business intelligence data. So, for instance, I am a cultivator and I'm growing 2 strains. I'm growing strain A, I'm growing strain B, and strain B actually sells for 10% more than strain A, but it costs 50% more to produce. So it's actually less profitable. And those are the types of business insights that we provide throughout the entire supply chain of our product to help our clients be able to understand their business better and how they can be more competitive within the marketplace.
Yeah, that requires me to manually input how much money I'm putting into the strain for you to know that.
Well, we automate a tremendous amount of that. So costs get associated with the product, and we are allowed this ability to perform mass actions, so we make that as easy as possible.
And then how many companies or customers do you have then in the approximate ballpark?
So we serve thousands of businesses and governments worldwide. So
yeah, that's right, the governments too, which is so the governments, these are ones that have come on that are where it's legal federally. Is that what we're talking about?
Actually, our 2 current government contracts are with state governments here in the United States. So we have a contract with the state of Washington and with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And we certainly have had some conversations with other federally legal governments, but have not moved forward at this time.
Interesting. And then the government likes to use MJ Freeway. Why?
So our product for government systems, Leaf Data Systems, is a track and trace product. So it's an aggregator of all of the business management information, compliance data, seed to sale data. And they use our product, and really what we offer in Leaf Data Systems that no other cannabis technology provider offers is that wealth of data from our over 8.5 years of operation. Yep. We are able to really fine-tune the pieces of government compliance around, well, what is an accurate level of moisture loss for a batch, or what is the expected yield from an extraction operation and within what tolerance. And those are the types of things that governments want to be able to track in order to ensure public safety, product safety, and patient or consumer safety.
Yeah, that's great. Compliance and regulation and safety. Yeah, that's great. So what is up with this merger? Congratulations. This is a big deal. This is huge. So yeah, teach us about this.
So MJ Freeway has entered into a merger agreement with MTech, which is a publicly listed on the NASDAQ special purpose acquisition corporation. So it's commonly referred to as a SPAC. Then MTech was formed and listed on the NASDAQ for the purpose of acquiring an ancillary cannabis company. And we are the company that is moving forward with these definitive agreements. And what it means to us is really, we expect to have around $60 million in cash on the balance sheet. And that allows us to execute our vision and strategy in an even bigger way. Yeah. We're really excited about the opportunity to supercharge our organic growth and really expand the reach and depth of MJ platform, as well as to look at some potential strategic acquisitions.
Yeah, wow. That's going to be a lot. 60 million is a big cash infusion to be able to go off, and also it's public to give people the public option to contribute. And so MTech was made to specially acquire a company, special acquisition, and then do they have other acquisitions?
We are the target that they have selected.
Okay. And then, so now with the 60 million, where do you see yourselves moving forward?
So I'm looking and thinking a lot about the emerging global economy. Yes. And with what we're doing with MJ Platform, we already have customers that are transacting across country lines, across multiple currencies. And I'm looking and thinking a lot about an even broader set of tools to serve that section of the emerging economy. I really think that is the future of our global economy. We're working with some very large producers in Colombia, as well as some other places that have favorable import-export laws, and I think that will truly change the face of our industry over the next few coming years.
Whoa, I'm just thinking about what I understand about geopolitics, and then also trying to lump in cannabis into that equation with not only the agriculture, but then also the trade of it across border and the currency and all that. That is so complicated. And it's a huge part of being able to get people medicine and yeah. So that's a big focus then.
It's a really fun problem to solve, or I should say it's a fun problem to offer solutions to address. So as I look at that and I think about what we've done, how we have been successful to date is in solving all of those little nitty-gritty details. So, for instance, the city of San Jose requires that labels for cannabis be printed in English, French, and Vietnamese. In our software, we do English, French, and Vietnamese for San Jose. And as I look at that and I consider what we get to do and the type of solutions that we get to provide worldwide, and will continue to provide worldwide, but as that expands and grows and we expand from what is currently our technology solutions currently offered in 3 languages, and as I consider the solution set of that being offered in many, many more languages, it's just very exciting, and I'm excited to do that work moving forward.
Yeah, and there's always this feeling of warmth or love that comes up when you have the opportunity to use a service that is in your language. There's always been it almost feels as though the company has given its love to your language, to that they know that you are going to be using this and that you're going to be cared for, and yeah, that's nice. What is what are you most looking forward to in the cannabis industry? Because the global economy, you said that there's so many different technologies that are being integrated into cannabis. So what are you most looking forward to?
You know, we say a lot that we are building a better industry, not just another industry. And what I am most looking forward to is this really unique point of view that many of the industry operators in cannabis are coming from, and how they're looking at, and the spirit of cooperation and new industry and new horizons, and a product that is very beneficial in many, many ways, medically, or even in a nutraceutical type of application. And I'm most excited to work and continue to work with an industry and group of people who have that just shifted mindset of, we're building a better industry, not just another industry.
I have a strong feeling that what you just said also relates for me to what is being built with blockchain infrastructure. Mm-hmm. That it feels as though that cannabis and blockchain are similar in the sense that they don't just want another industry. They want a better industry. I like that quote. That's a good one. Thanks for having that value system. We appreciate it. This is a lot of what we try and communicate with our audiences, that shift in perception towards better industries. How can we be a part of building the future in the better industries? Okay, last question, because you are a powerful woman and we love speaking with powerful women. How can we help actualize more women into our world?
Well, let me speak just for tech, because that is a passion area for me, and an area in which I've spent a lot of time and energy. And interestingly, and unfortunately, what we see in tech is we see these two cliffs that women fall off the cliff. So there's either the cliff of they never get into STEM, they never enter the science, tech, engineering, math fields, or once they get in, interestingly, over 50% leave the field within the first 10 years. And this usually happens because they may be starting families, they may be doing something else. And I will tell you what we have done at MJ Freeway to help address this second cliff. And we said, look, we're going to focus a lot on the second cliff, because that's an area in which we are actively operating, and we employ female engineers. And this second cliff, what we have done is we have implemented a 30-hour full-time work week. And that is an available option at our business for not every position in our business, but many positions have that option. And what it does is, we've got a couple things around it. We don't allow any other employment, so it's not for somebody to work two jobs. But if they are working full-time, they can have full-time benefits, work 30 hours a week, and have a balance of time for their families. And what we've seen is generally people take advantage of that when they have very young children.
And that's just 4 days at 8 hours a day, pretty much. So
what we usually see is the 5 days, but 6 hours.
Oh, there you go.
So that they're able to meet their kids when they get out of preschool, or out of, off the school bus, or whatever that may be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You drop them off and pick them up. And then you're working from like 9 till 3.
Exactly. And what we get is incredibly productive work from these people who are very intelligent, very bright people who want to continue to be challenged and to have a career, but they're balancing the needs of their families as well. And we've really, I will tell you that out of all of the people that we have offered that option to, so far they have all stayed with us long term and converted to 40-hour work weeks eventually, when their children got older.
And what you're describing right now is a flexible, dynamically adjusting system of work culture, that we're not trying to push square pegs through circular hole. There's everyone's like their own unique experience lineage, and we can find ways to make it so that the companies that we're aiming to build, that have these missions that people want to get behind, that we can adjust the workflows of the company to the individual, so they can have family and they can do the different things in their life. That's a really good one. I like that one. And we have had the opportunity to speak with so many powerful women, and we host like women in alliance panels and all these cool things. And, you know, one of the things that we think is also really a key point here is equality of opportunity. I was even shocked when I was like, respect's really important. And, you know, I had a counter that actually equality of opportunity is even more important. And I was like, wow. And they kind of fit together, but just the idea that if you want the STEM field to have the female creative potential and female tech and business potential, which we absolutely need, then a way to do that is to provide those options, those opportunities. Yeah. Wow. What a pleasure. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you so much for coming on to the show and talking with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
We really appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks. And for everybody listening in and tuning in, thank you. And also go and manifest your destiny. Go create, go and build. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Peace.